Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Cyrus reveals his murder spree and then stabs Lucky. Cyrus kindly asked Elizabeth if he might enter because he had an urgent topic to discuss. Liz told Cyrus it wasn't a good time and tried to close the door, but he wouldn't let her. "You don't understand. I'm afraid this can't wait," he shouted, storming into a horrified Elizabeth's living room. Cyrus pretended surprise at Elizabeth's obvious concern. "I thought you would be excited to see me because there's so much you want to know about me. You have been asking around, yes? I thought I'd just give you an opportunity to ask me whatever you'd want right to my face," the man replied. Elizabeth did not deny asking inquiries at Turning Woods. A very angry Cyrus inquired about what she had discovered throughout her investigations. Liz continued to try to get rid of Cyrus, but eventually gave up and started asking. "Fine, I'll start at the beginning," she said. "Let there be light?" Cyrus joked before Liz asked a surprising question: "Why did you try to kill Lulu?" Cyrus had no issue giving Lulu a straight response. "My niece had been in a coma for 4 years with no sign that she would ever improve," Cyrus told the audience. Liz pointed out that Laura and Rocco had never lost hope. What was poor Lulu going through while they hoped? Cyrus questioned bitterly. Cyrus reasoned that Liz, as a nurse, was concerned with the physical and what could be viewed. "As a man of God, I focus on what can't be observed, the spiritual." "Are you spiritual, Nurse Baldwin?" Cyrus was curious. Liz said this in the hopes that Cyrus would understand his motivations. Cyrus described the motive behind his murderous spree. "You've seen people trapped in a bed hooked up to machines, but just because people can be kept alive doesn't mean they should, yes?" remarked the gentleman. Liz believed it should be the patient's choice, but Cyrus was unsure what to do if the patient was unable to make a decision. Elizabeth stated that she had witnessed families making that difficult decision for their loved ones, but she soon realized that Lulu was Cyrus' family, and he was making a decision for her. Liz questioned why he had slain the others, but Cyrus explained that they were all God's children. "When I was volunteering, I had seen so many people trapped in their own hell, and I saw God had given me this mission to free these imprisoned souls," Cyrus said with a crying face. Cyrus gazed up at the heavens and realized God had wanted him to return these individuals to the glorious light that leads to him. He burst into tears and said he had to put Lulu out of her agony. "Wasn't Lulu entitled to that beauty?" inquired the man. "So, that's why you turned off her ventilator," she explained. "No, that was much later," Cyrus admitted. He first tried giving her a drug she didn't require, which resulted in liver failure. "If only the Lord had taken my sweet niece then," he lamented. "I understand why you did what you did for Lulu and the other patients, but why Sam? Why did you kill Sam McCall?" Liz raised her voice. Cyrus said that Sam's attempt to save Lulu had hampered Cyrus' mission. "It was a consequence of her obstructing the Lord's will," he told me. "When he killed Sam, he knew he could use Digitalis to free the rest of the people. If it wasn't for Sam, I wouldn't have discovered Digitalis," she remarked. Liz understood. "It's fast, effective, and relatively painless," Liz said with a laugh. She then inquired why Dex had to die, and Cyrus responded that it was because Dex was coming too close to knowing what happened to Sam. "So, you eliminated a witness? Forgive me for saying this, but that sounds less like the will of God and more like something the old Cyrus would do," Liz told me. Cyrus reasoned that Dex almost killed him last year under Sonny's orders. Cyrus continued to insist that he had no ill will toward Dex. Cyrus was overtaken with emotion when Liz realized he needed to kill Dex to continue his goal and rescue other souls. Finally, Elizabeth mentioned Cyrus' adored mother, who was also suffering in a long-term care facility. "Yes, my mother's suffering is what has awakened me to my purpose," Cyrus told the crowd. "If I could, I would set her free, just like any good son," he joked. Liz believed she had Cyrus quiet enough to listen to her, so she attempted to appear understanding. "Now I know your purpose is not unlike mine, to help and to heal," she ended by adding. Cyrus assumed she knew that nothing could endanger the task, so he took the syringe of digitalis from his pocket. He grabbed Liz's arm and prepared to inject before Lucky stormed in. Liz was able to flee and raced for her phone, calling 911 while Cyrus and Lucky wrestled. Liz's face turned white when she noticed the injection in Lucky's thigh. Jack and Carly sipped vintage champagne in her kitchen. Carly recognized it as the same one they had in Germany. Their kissing session was cut short when Donna called for her mother. Carly led Donna down to the kitchen. Donna advised Jack that he looked weary and should go to bed. Donna had a nasty dream, so Jack explained why everyone has bad dreams. Donna inquired about espionage next, but as Jack attempted to explain, Carly intervened and returned Donna to her room. When Carly and Donna exited the kitchen, Jack received a text and had to depart immediately. Emma and Gio sat behind Bobby's counter as Joss tried to find someone to cover for her. Emma invited Joss to participate in the animal rights benefit she was planning. Joss disappointed Emma by saying she didn't have time to help. As soon as someone arrived to cover her shift, Jocelyn dashed for Cyrus' refuge. Chase and Dante met at Bobby's after an emergency at Deception required Brooklyn and Lulu to work. Dante wanted to know everything about the concert at the Savoy. Chase was proud of his huge surprise. "I had to do something spectacular to make it up to Brooklyn," Chase admitted. Dante was perplexed because Chase was such a decent husband. Chase eventually told Dante the truth. "It turns out that I'm not able to give my wife the one thing that she really wants," according to him. "I can't give Brooklyn the family that we want to have," Chase told me. Lulu was relieved when Brooklyn arrived to settle matters with a client in Helsinki. She then admonished Lulu for being nasty on the phone. "But you're okay with him yelling at me?" a perplexed Lulu inquired. The two ladies continued to dispute, with Lulu informing Brooklyn that she gets whatever she wants. She had the perfect career, the perfect spouse, and she was about to have wonderful children. Dante walked in to break up their argument. Brooklyn left so Dante could hear Lulu talk about how beautiful Brooklyn's life was. Dante ended up telling Lulu that Brooklyn and Chase were having fertility issues. Brad and Lucas continued to talk inside the Savoy pub. Brad was sure Lucas didn't anticipate his Valentine's Day to turn out this way, but Lucas wasn't upset. Portia and Curtis were shocked to see Drew and Willow walk into the Savoy as if their relationship were entirely normal. "Wow! Taking his nephew's wife out for Valentine's Day. That's a choice," she noted. Curtis couldn't believe Drew would show up at the Savoy after what occurred between them, calling it a show of disrespect. Drew even told NECA to deny Drew service the next time he tried to book a table. While Portia and Curtis were gossiping about Drew and Willow, Willow couldn't stop talking about Brad and Lucas' relationship. Willow said she would never forgive Brad for what he done. Just then, Curtis approached the table and informed Drew that he did not want him there. Curtis took Drew aside and informed him that Michael's wife was allowed to stay, but Drew needed to leave. "I don't want you here. It's my club, and I reserve the right to refuse service to anyone," stated Curtis with a smile. Drew then informed Willow that he had a surprise for her, and they left. Brad and Lucas were gossiping at the bar about Drew and Willow, with Brad noticing Willow giving them the stink eye. Brad found this to be ironic. "I may not be one to judge, but she is clearly on a date with her husband's uncle while said husband is in a German burn unit. That's just wrong on so many levels," Brad informed me. "It must be hard being the one everyone's looking at and judging," Lucas told me. Brad acknowledged he knew how that felt. Lucas noted that Willow did not appear to be joyful for someone who was supposed to be in love. Willow, on the other hand, was pleased when Drew showed her the house he had recently purchased. She was taken aback when Drew asked her to move in with him. Lucky's life is at stake in the upcoming episode of General Hospital. Drew pressures Willow for a response. Brooklyn ready to speak the truth. Will Lucky and Jocelyn survive Cyrus? Cyrus escapes Elizabeth's residence, while Lucky struggles for his life on the living room floor. Liz does her best to keep him alive until the paramedics arrive and rush Lucky to now that he's been discharged and has some time to think outside. Jason mulls over everything he's heard from the women in his life over the last week. They don't want him to kill Cyrus for a variety of reasons, including Danny. Jason states that there is only one thing holding him back right now. Does he hear Sam's voice warning him not to do it? Perhaps he will find that Cyrus attempted to kill Elizabeth and feel that he must respond, despite what everyone has told him. Anna has also been thinking about her chat with Jason and realizes she needs to do more to ensure Cyrus is apprehended. She goes to Laura and informs her that her brother is the primary suspect in many murders. Will Brooklyn say the truth? General Hospital, where Portia and Isaiah work tirelessly to save his life. After her encounter with Lulu, Brooklyn may understand that honesty is the best strategy. She returns home to her spouse and listens to how upset he is that he cannot give her a child. However, he is willing to investigate other options. When Brooklyn confronts her concerns, will she eventually tell Chase that she has a child who is now a young adult? Perhaps they'll look for her son together and learn he's been right under their nose the entire time. RX for General Hospital, the 5-step plan to fix what's broken, plus your chance to evaluate the show. There's a lot to like about General Hospital these days, from the upcoming Lucky/Liz reunion to the casting of Chemistry Machine Sandy Wilson as Isaiah and the chef's kiss pairing of schemers Ava and Rick. However, there are a few areas that need to be improved, and the show should address them soon. In order, they're 1. Cyrus' killing spree. Having a character go about murdering people surely raises the stakes on a daily basis. But the tale has to make sense, and right now it doesn't. When mobster-turned-holy roller Cyrus is eventually dealt his fair deserts, the writers must provide an explanation for his conduct that will make us say, "Oh, now I understand," instead of, "Oh, you must be kidding me." 2. The uncouple. Was anyone pleased when General Hospital separated Sasha and Cody by making them cousins? Show of hands? Is there no one? That is what we thought. So the sooner Holly and Robert are restored to the canvas to reveal that the would-be sweethearts aren't connected at all, the better. Cody is currently reversing all of his progress since becoming Sasha's protector. 3. Persona non grata. We are completely willing to accept that people can change, grow, and improve. But when it comes to Natalia, we're not buying it. She forced Blaze into the closet for her whole life, blew out her career by being exposed as a screaming homophobe, and was rewarded with a front-page boyfriend and a job. We may forgive Natalia someday, but she must earn it. 4. The ick factor. Nobody is cheering for Drew and Willow. That's okay. It's fun to have everyone in Port Charles dislike them. However, when their love affair fails, the show must devise a solution for the lovers. If Drew is going to be sleazy now, let him be the new villain. Stop pretending he is a good guy. Willow, on the other hand, could want to follow in the footsteps of her late sister Nellie and go dark. 5. Brooklyn's baby boom. The powers that be must find a purpose for the story, which has cast Gio as the son Brooklyn abandoned as a teenager. That isn't like that would be a deal-breaker for her and Chase. It happened a long time ago. Dante might be irritated to find he had a child all those years ago, but he would just adore Gio. The plot is a what, but it is missing a why. Fingers crossed that the why will reveal itself soon. Harrison Chase had spent his entire life believing that if he followed the rules, did the right thing, and worked hard, life would reward him accordingly. But now, faced with the brutal reality that he would never be a father, he felt as if it had all been a lie. He had attempted to remain strong, forcing himself to be honest with Brooklyn Quartermaine as soon as he received the awful news, in order to guarantee that there were no secrets between them. He expected heartbreak, disappointment, and perhaps tears. But what he hadn't expected was the silent anguish she kept deep inside, the way she smiled through the pain, as if this loss didn't affect her as much as it did him. It was as if they were grieving individually. Brooklyn had always been a fighter, facing hardship head-on, but Chase understood when she was playing a role. And this? This was an act. She was concealing something, suppressing emotions that would inevitably bubble to the surface sooner or later. He did not push her, however. Perhaps he was barely holding himself together. But everything they had worked so hard to create was about to be shook to its core. Brooklyn was grieving not only the children she and Chase would never have, but also the kid she had already given up. She hid a secret long before she fell in love with Chase. And suddenly, the past was returning with a vengeance. Brooklyn had convinced herself that her secret would never need to be revealed. She had done what she felt was best all those years ago, leaving behind a chapter of her life that was no longer relevant to her future. However, fate had given her a nasty hand. The child she had given away, the one she hadn't told Chase about, could be her sole biological child. That reality weighed heavily on her chest. How could she tell Chase after everything? How could she expect him to comprehend why she had hidden something so essential from him? Worse, how could she tell him who his father was? Because the man she'd shared her past with wasn't just anybody. It was Dante Falconeri. Chase had always thought of Dante as a brother in arms, someone he could trust fully. Throughout his years on the police department, and through both professional and personal struggles, Dante had always been one of the few individuals Chase trusted to have his back. But that was before. Chase had no idea Dante had previously been with Brooklyn. Before he discovered that Dante had fathered a kid with the lady he had promised to spend the rest of his life with. Before he discovered they had been keeping this secret from him for years. It wasn't simply that Brooklyn lied, it was who she lied about. Chase felt as if his entire world was wobbling on its axis, and everything he believed in was sliding through his fingers. Dante didn't know anything about the child. Brooklyn had made that decision on her own, and Dante knew nothing about it. However, Chase's feelings of betrayal remained unchanged. How could the two people he trusted the most keep something like this from him? Worse, did they still have a relationship? Brooklyn had anticipated wrath, disappointment, and possibly even heartbreak. What she hadn't expected was Chase's devastated expression and the way he recoiled from her as if she were a stranger. She tried to explain, but the words rang empty even in her own ears. She had told herself that the past was better forgotten because it had nothing to do with the life she had created with Chase. But suddenly the past was staring them in the face. "I would have understood," Chase explained, his voice barely above a whisper and raw with sorrow. "If you had just told me the truth." Perhaps he would have. Maybe if she had told him before they had committed to stay together forever, before they had formed a marriage on what Chase thought was trust, he could have forgiven her. What about now? Now he wasn't sure who Brooklyn was. A dangerous path forward. Chase's treachery stung harder than he thought, exposing something inside of him that he had no idea was weak. He wasn't simply angry. He wasn't only hurt. He was lost. And with that loss came a gloom he had never experienced before. For so long, he'd tried to be the decent person, the one who always did the right thing even when it was difficult. But he was no longer clear what the correct thing was. His emotions were a twisted mass of rage and grief, love and betrayal, and he had no idea how to deal with it. Would he drown himself in alcohol, as his brother did? Would he immerse himself in his task until he was oblivious to everything else? Or would he seek comfort in the arms of someone other than Brooklyn Quartermain? Chase wasn't sure he'd be able to look at his wife the same way again. And he wasn't certain he wanted to. Is this the beginning of the end? Chase and Brooklyn faced a more uncertain future than ever before. Could they find a way to repair what had been broken, or was this the start of the end? Will Chase ever be able to forgive her, or will the weight of her deception be too much to bear? And, with Dante still in the picture, could Chase genuinely think that his wife had left the past behind? One thing was certain, nothing in Port Charles would ever be the same again. Cyrus hits again, Willow is stunned, and Lulu opens her big mouth. Cyrus informed Elizabeth all she needed to know about his months-long mercy-killing rampage. He was aware Liz had been snooping around, asking questions about him, so he gave her permission to ask more. Elizabeth began by questioning why he attempted to kill Lulu. Cyrus claimed that his niece had been suffering for 4 years and he only wanted to free her. He even admitted to giving her a medicine that caused liver failure before turning off her ventilator. He had to kill Sam since she was interfering with God's plan by keeping Lulu in a coma. He had no means of anticipating Lulu's awakening. He killed Dex because he was too near to discovering the truth, and he also had to kill Liz. Cyrus seized her and attempted to inject Liz with Digitalis before Lucky appeared through the door. During their struggle, Cyrus jabbed his nephew while Liz contacted 911. Willow's big surprise when Drew and Willow went into the Savoy like any other couple, Curtis was furious. He grabbed Drew aside and informed him that he had to leave, but Willow could stay. Drew, enraged, grabbed Willow, and the two of them dashed away, Drew promising a surprise. Drew's new home came as a surprise. Willow enjoyed it, but Drew had more in store. He invited Willow to move in with him. She stood there with her jaw on the floor, unsure what to say. Rude Lulu and Brooklyn were forced to put out a business fire at Deception after Brooklyn became upset with the way Lulu spoke to a vendor. Lulu didn't understand why Brooklyn was so upset when she had such a wonderful life. After all, she had fallen for all she had and would soon have perfect children. What else could she ask for? Dante arrived and questioned what was going on. Brooklyn left, and Lulu complained to Dante about Brooklyn's luck. Chase had just told Dante about his reproductive issues, so an angry Dante warned Lulu that Brooklyn would not soon have perfect children. That was one way to make Lulu stop talking. General Hospital, is Nancy Lee Grahn avoiding Laura Wright? Is there a reason why they never appear together on television? That is what everyone wants to know about Nancy Lee Grahn and Laura Wright from General Hospital. General Hospital, is Nancy Lee Grahn avoiding Laura Wright? In fact, some believe Nancy is actively avoiding Laura. This has been going on for quite some time, and Nancy even booked back surgery a few years ago to avoid sharing any scenes with Laura. So, does this indicate a continuing feud between the two women? Maybe, maybe not. But if we've learned anything about this fictitious society in Port Charles, it's that there can only be one queen wearing a crown at any given moment. Not only that, but Nancy appears to have friends and co-stars she likes and hangs out with when she is not working, but Carly does not. It nearly appears as if they've established two distinct groups on the program and stuck with them. Do the two women truly detest each other, or do they simply prefer to keep their distance? Of course, only time will tell, but it appears that Alexis will do everything she can to avoid Carly in Port Charles, and vice versa. General Hospital, what really happens behind the scenes? However, the two characters aren't exactly best pals on screen. They both used foul tricks to win custody of Willow and Drew's children. Nancy and Carly have yet to comment on their alleged feud, although at this time, it's unlikely that they will. Kelly Monaco misses out on a huge opportunity. While no one knows what's going on behind closed doors or if she ever plans to appear in front of a camera again, one thing is certain for General Hospital's former star Kelly Monaco: she has missed out on a major chance. But it may not be what you believe. Kelly Monaco misses out on a huge opportunity. As many of our dedicated readers are already aware, Kelly was let go from General Hospital late last summer, despite having been on the iconic CBS soap for more than 20 years. It's been several months since Kelly last appeared on television, and many people are curious about what she's been up to and whether she'll ever return to acting. Some believe she missed out on a big opportunity by not joining the cast of the upcoming CBS series, Beyond the Gates. That's because Beyond the Gates will air at the same time as General Hospital. That would have been an excellent opportunity for Kelly to exact revenge on people who treated her unfairly at ABC, right? There's no doubt that her devoted General Hospital followers would have left Port Charles almost immediately to see what she was up to on Beyond the Gates. In addition, it is currently the most popular soap on daytime television. What's going on with Kelly Monaco? Some believe that the change would have eliminated General Hospital's ratings entirely. After all, Kelly has the most devoted admirers in soap operas. However, no one knows if Kelly will ever return to acting or if she is simply waiting for a better offer to come in. Kelly Monaco has yet to comment on the situation, but we will keep you updated as more information becomes available. Chase makes a big reveal, Drew is evicted, and Cyrus strikes again and again. Carly Spencer and Jack Brennan mark their momentous evening with the same champagne they enjoyed in Germany. They kiss when Donna phones Carly from upstairs. Carly brings her downstairs, and Jack explains what happened, and they bond briefly. Donna eventually says goodnight, and Carly takes her back to bed as Jack receives a text. When she returns, he tells her that duty beckons and gives her one last kiss before departing. Emma reads the room wrong as always. Jocelyn Jacks is holding down the fort at Bobby's when Gio Palmieri and Emma Drake drop by for coffee. Emma wants to ask Joss for assistance with her animal cruelty organization and is angry when Joss moves away to deal with clients. Gio advises her to relax and return to the point. Joss claims she doesn't have time to help because she is going through a lot, but she will contribute, to which Emma responds angrily. Joss informs her that she may be able to help more in the future, and Emma continues to lean in on Joss's willingness to give time rather than money. Joss adds $100, but Emma is still dissatisfied. Gio and Emma agree that they enjoy one another's company. Chase and Brooklyn's life isn't so perfect. Harrison Chase and Dante Falconeri run into each other outside Bobby's and go in together. They discuss about Chase taking the stage at the Savoy and singing to his wife. He then tells Dante that he can't get Brooklyn pregnant. Dante points out that there are several ways to start a family and that they may decide to take a different approach to having children in the future. Meanwhile, Lulu Spencer is on the phone at Deception when Brooklyn Quartermain rushes into the office to take the call herself. They then engage into a fight since Lulu did not mind destroying BLQ's Valentine's Day. Lulu doesn't understand why Brooklyn isn't concerned about the customer on the phone cursing at her. BLQ adds she doesn't want people yelling at her either. The two clash because Lulu isn't paying enough attention to figure out who does what at Deception or who manages what. Lulu then goes personal, telling BLQ that she plans to have the perfect life with the perfect husband and children in the near future. That's when Dante enters the office and breaks up the fight. BLQ exits, and Dante tells Lulu to be kind with her boss. Lulu demands to know why she should, and Dante informs her that Brooklyn and Chase recently discovered that they are unable to have children. Drew is kicked out of the Savoy, and Willow finds her new home. Curtis Ashford and Portia Robinson are celebrating a wonderful night at the Savoy when they notice Drew Quartermain and Willow Corinthos enter. Curtis believes it is a rude power maneuver on Drew's part. Drew and Willow sit and notice Brad Cooper and Lucas Spencer sitting nearby. The boys also see Willow on a date with her husband's uncle. Curtis approaches the bartender and instructs them not to serve Drew. He then approaches Drew and begs him to go. Drew returns to Willow and informs her that there has been a change of plans and they will be departing. He takes her to the house he recently purchased, and Willow believes it's an ideal home for Scout. Drew then says that he believes it's ideal for her and their children. He invites Willow to move in, and she is astonished. Cyrus' next victim Elizabeth Baldwin discovers Cyrus Renault at her front door following a romantic Valentine's Day encounter with Lucky Spencer. He asks if he may come in to talk something important, and when she attempts to close the door, he puts his foot in it. He storms into her living room and declares that he will give her the opportunity to ask him everything she wants to know directly to his face. She learns he isn't leaving and enters, questioning why Cyrus attempted to kill Lulu. He explains that just because someone can be kept alive does not imply that they should. He reveals that he wants to release Lulu from this existence and show her the beauty of what comes next. Liz pretends to grasp his argument as he speaks, so he believes she is an ally. He reveals that Lulu's liver failed because he gave her the incorrect medication. He believed he was doing the Lord's job by bringing Lulu out of her coma, and Sam's liver donation stood in the way. He used Digitalis on her, which revealed which medicine he should use to complete his work. Cyrus claims that Sam's death is a consequence. Liz then inquires about Dex Heller and why he had to die. He claims that Dex was a witness and saw Cyrus with Sam, therefore he had to get rid of him so that his mission could proceed. He also wished to release Michael Corinthos from his third-degree burns. Liz says she recognizes that he is practicing a different type of healing. Cyrus attempts to inject her with Digitalis as Lucky bursts through the front door. Liz escapes Cyrus as he turns toward Lucky with the needle. The two fight, and Cyrus injects Lucky in the leg before fleeing. Liz returns to the room to inform Lucky that the cops are on their way, and she notices the needle dangling out of his leg. At the Savoy, Curtis tells Portia, "We don't need him ruining our evening." According to the teasers, Drew and Curtis' conflict builds, so the congressman has attend the hip nightclub to fleece talk to his people. Nearby, Brad tells Lucas, "This is wrong on so many levels." Brad may be referring to the fact that the two are each alone on Valentine's Day. At Bobby's, Jocelyn asks Emma, "How does all of that translate into me helping you?" Emma is clearly trying to attract Joss for her fundraiser and has probably taken the long way around to get there. Dante advises Chase, "Whatever it is, man, you can tell me." According to the weekly teases, Chase confesses, so he's either telling Dante he's sterile or apologizing for informing his friend that Cyrus is a suspect in Sam's murder. Lulu exclaims at Brooklyn, "If you are not getting what you want, it is your fault." The conflict between Lulu and BLQ has escalated yet again. BLQ simply needs to let go of the past and move on with her life, rather than dwelling on the negative. At Elizabeth's door, Cyrus says, "I'm afraid this just can't wait." Oh. This does not look good for Elizabeth. Hopefully, Jason shows up and prevents Cyrus from killing her. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.